The adventures of Geppeto's puppet are far from over. Not even Krot, the city where fairy tales come true, can contain him. With the official announcement of DLC and an upcoming sequel, I thought it would be appropriate to overanalyze the 2 teaser images we received from G1 Cho's director's letter and determine exactly where the strings would pull us next. But before we travel in search of an immortal, it's time to give credit where it's due. Thank you to Play on Worlds for sponsoring this video. Orbit Studio has recently launched Ebenezer in the Invisible World on all platforms as of November 3rd. Ebenezer in the Invisible World is a single-player Metroidvania based on Charles Dickens' novel A Christmas Carol. You play as Ebenezer Scrooge, who has the ability to see ghosts. Many of these apparitions still linger in the land of the living, and it's up to Ebenezer to aid them with their pending matters. In return for his assistance, the ghosts grant Ebenezer incredible powers and abilities that allow him to traverse new areas and face off with increasingly disturbing foes. Not everyone in London is fortunate enough to celebrate the holidays, however. Many have taken to the streets to protest against Caspar Malthus' poor working conditions. Ebenezer will once again journey through the past, present, and future of not himself, but the one responsible for the current state of things. What will he discover when his adventure comes to an end? Well, only time will tell, as they say. Ebenezer in the Invisible World is available now on all platforms. If you're looking for the perfect game to get in the Christmas spirit, then be sure to use the links in the description down below. I'd also like to give kudos to WizardWolf1020 for locating the Easter egg in the previous thumbnail. Excellent powers of observation, my friend. Now, back to the matter at hand. Along with an alchemist's top hat and a pair of emerald-tinted glasses, which further cement my Wizard of Oz theories, we were also gifted with 2 pieces of concept art that I was determined to scrutinize until I formulated a theory. After the initial reveal, it's clear that these are sketches of future destinations that Geppeto's puppet will travel to in his journeys. The images, however, were vastly different. The first picture featured a turbine that had been frozen over, and the second, a wrecked ship. Before I dive into the results of my analysis, I'd like to debunk the theory that the DLC will be taking place on Pleasure Island. This is simply not the case. In fact, we'll be voyaging to the Arctic in search of Victor Frankenstein and his monster. If you don't believe me, then I invite you to continue watching the video. In Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the Arctic serves as a key location for the novel. The opening paragraphs detail Captain Robert Walton's expedition to explore the frozen unknown in pursuit of science. Along the way, he encountered a man on the brink of death, emaciated and chilled to the bone. This man was none other than Victor Frankenstein, who in his desperation had made it his sole mission to destroy the demon he had created. After a series of unfortunate events, Frankenstein's monster had escaped to the Arctic to reflect on his newfound humanity and the unsavory things he had done in the mainland. Ultimately, after witnessing the death of his creator, the creature would be filled with a sorrow so agonizing that he pledged to burn to death at the coldest point of the North Pole, never to be seen again. The first picture we were treated to prominently featured a frozen reactor of sorts. Could this be the abandoned laboratory where Frankenstein's immortal abomination was created? We know that Victor utilized a patchwork of human cadaver parts and a great deal of electricity to give life to his creation. Perhaps this is where the devilish deed was done. Geppeto's puppet is seen rummaging through the lab, possibly searching for the whereabouts of the mad scientist. True to Lies of P, it's very likely that Victor Frankenstein was attempting to create an immortal being of his very own design, much like those in the Ouroboros organization that conducted the Krot experiment. In his search of the fabled elixir of life, Victor Frankenstein had taken inspiration from the greatest minds of alchemy, including Cornelius Agrippa, Albertus Magnus, and Paracelsus, yet another tied to the legendary alchemist himself. Keep the Arctic motif in mind, as it's of even more importance in the second sketch. This was the culprit for the Pleasure Island theories. However intriguing the idea may have been to experience, it simply couldn't be further from the truth. Careful observation will reveal patches of ice on the deck and sheets of ice on the surrounding body of water. This is clearly a location that has been subjected to freezing temperatures, not to mention the human popsicles in the crow's nest. If this isn't evidence enough, perhaps the Aurora Borealis, or aptly named Northern Lights, will convince you. If you look at the upper left-hand corner of the sketch, an ominous green glow eerily lights the deck. This is not a sign of an alien invasion, but a naturally occurring phenomenon that can be witnessed in areas near both the North and South Poles. Interestingly enough, many have asked how Geppeto's puppet will reach these remote locations, but the answer is simple. If this inactive stargazer doesn't do the trick, perhaps old Pistris, which is Greek for sea monster, an obvious reference to the dogfish in the Adventures of Pinocchio, will be put to work once again to trek across the sea into the snowy white oblivion that is the Arctic. There are many different types of immortals, but only time will tell us if this one is friend or foe. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me know you want more content just like this. Click on these videos on screen to continue your journey through Krot, and I'll be there to guide you when you arrive. Consider becoming a member for exclusive perks like emojis, members-only videos, and more. Or check out my code for your Patreon page if you just want to support me in a more personal way. Until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out. Join the Inhuman community today.